Ah, there you are. Welcome, dear dreamer. I hope you are well. I am Alistair Tobias, though my guests call me the Green Sage, keeper of forgotten tales. Tonight I shall be your lore master, your guide through stories spun from starlight and slumber. Let us wander into a tale as old as the cosmos, one woven with twilight's magic. So close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the story carry you away. For we are the dream weavers, and this is where enchantment begins. Tonight, we wander to the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, where Prince Roland, a brave seeker with a curious mind, faces a cryptic riddle behind two guards and two mysterious doors, grappling with the liar's paradox, the baffling tangle of truth and deception. He seeks a path to wisdom. Our channel weaves deep philosophical ideas into beautiful, cozy stories, and this tale of intrigue follows Roland's dreamy quest to unravel the enigma of lies. Let the flickering torchlight guide you into his adventure. Before our tale begins, let us prepare the soil of the mind, for every story grows best in quiet earth. Let us begin with a simple breath relaxation technique. Find your comfortable position now, and let your body grow heavy, like sinking into soft moss, the weight of the day melting away, like morning fog in sunlight. Notice how your breath begins to slow, all on its own, as if the night itself is breathing through you, each muscle softening, like wax beneath a candle's flame. We'll breathe together now. We'll inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold gently for 2, then release slowly for 6. Let's begin. Inhale for 4, the weight of the day melting away. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly, releasing all that no longer serves you. Good. Again, inhale. Hold. Exhale, the distant hum of the night carrying your cares away. One more time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Feel how the air itself carries your weight away. Good. Very good. Picture a quiet night in a medieval kingdom called Eldoria, where the air is cool and smells of wood smoke and damp stone. A grand castle looms on a rugged hill, its towers jagged against the moonlit sky. Below, a village of timber houses huddles, their thatched roofs silver in the moonlight. A slow river winds through the valley, its water murmuring like a secret. Torches flicker along the castle walls, casting warm shadows. This is a story about Prince Roland, a knight and heir to the throne, whose heart was torn between duty and a strange, nagging puzzle. Roland was strong and thoughtful, with calloused hands, from wielding a sword, and eyes that searched for truth. His short blonde hair was neatly trimmed, and his leather tunic creaked under a crimson cloak. He lived in the castle with his father, King Torrin, and his cunning advisors. Every night, when the castle grew still, Roland escaped the weight of his crown. He climbed to a high tower, where a wooden chair sat by an open window. He'd sit, wrap his cloak tight, and breathe the night air. What lies beyond these walls, he'd whisper, staring at the dark hills. The world felt big, full of questions. Eldoria was a restless kingdom. By day, knights trained in the courtyard, their armor clanging like thunder. Villagers worked the fields, hauling grain, while merchants haggled over wool and iron in the square. Roland was loved, but some whispered he thought too much. "Why do you brood, my lord?" a stable hand asked once, brushing a horse. "A prince should hunt, not dream. Roland gave a quiet smile. Dreams sharpen the mind, he said. The stable hand shrugged, muttering, Odd Prince Roland, always chasing thoughts. The castle folk admired Roland's courage. He'd led patrols against bandits, his sword flashing in the rain. Yet he craved more than battles. He read old scrolls in the library, tales of knights and riddles. The servants' children followed him, tugging his cloak. Tell us a story, Prince, they'd beg. He'd kneel, his voice low, and share tales of dragons or lost kings. Do riddles have answers? A boy asked once. Roland nodded. Always, he said, but some twist your mind first. The children laughed, and Roland felt alive. One night, something strange happened. Roland sat in the tower, the wind cool against his face, the river's murmur mixed with distant owl calls. He'd read a dusty scroll that day, written by a mad monk long ago. It spoke of a riddle that broke minds. This statement is a lie. If it was true, it was false. If it was false, it was true. Roland's head spun like a wheel stuck in mud. How can words twist like that, he whispered. It was like a knot he couldn't untie, a puzzle that laughed at him. His thoughts grew stranger. The scroll mentioned a legend, a hidden cave in Eldoria's hills, guarded by 2 stone statues, magical guards. One always told the truth, one always lied. Inside the cave were 2 doors. One led to treasure, one to death. To find the treasure, you could ask one guard, one question. The riddle of the lying words and the doors felt connected, like pieces of the same mystery. Roland's chest tightened, like before a battle. How do you trust words that lie? He murmured. He leaned back in his chair, the wood creaking. The moonlight painted the tower silver and the river sang below. Roland imagined the cave, its dark mouth waiting. He pictured the guards, their stone eyes gleaming. If I ask the liar, they'll trick me, he thought. If I ask the truth-teller, how do I know which is which? The puzzle was like a fog, heavy but exciting. It made him feel alive, like riding through a storm. In Eldoria, people believed in magic. They said spirits haunted the hills, and old knights spoke of quests that tested the soul. Roland respected those tales, but he wanted answers. Was the liar's riddle just a monk's trick? Or did it hold a secret? Could a question outsmart a liar and unlock the right door? He called this puzzle the liar's riddle, a simple name for a twisty thought. Maybe it's a game, he thought, like outwitting a foe. Roland pulled his cloak closer, its wool rough but warm. The castle was quiet, save for the wind and river. His breathing slowed, his thoughts drifting like leaves on the water. Liar's riddle, he whispered. I'll solve you. His voice faded, soft as the night. The moon watched, calm and steady as he sank toward dreams. Picture Roland in the tower, his cloak around him, the castle strong and silent. See the river glinting under the moon and the village sleeping below. Hear the wind, gentle as a sigh, and the owl's distant call. Let your thoughts drift like Roland's into the cool, quiet night. This is a story for dreaming, for feeling like a prince facing a strange challenge. Roland's quest is just beginning. He'll chase the liar's riddle, battling its twists with courage and wonder. But for now he rests, the night holding him close. Picture the cool night in Eldoria, where the air smells of wood smoke and damp earth. The castle stands tall on its rugged hill, its towers dark against the moonlit sky. The village below sleeps, its timber houses quiet, their thatched roofs silver. The river murmurs softly, winding through the valley like a gentle friend. Torches flicker on the castle walls, their light warm and steady. Prince Roland, our brave knight, sits in the high tower, his crimson cloak wrapped tight. The liar's riddle hums in his mind. How can words lie and be true? How do I outsmart a lying guard to find the right door? Roland's eyes are heavy, but his thoughts are awake like embers in a dying fire. He leans back in his wooden chair. The creak soft in the quiet. The moonlight paints the tower silver, and the river sings below. Roland thinks about the mad monk's riddle. This statement is a lie. It twists like a snake, never settling. If it's true, it's false, he whispers. If it's false, it's true. It's like a song that loops forever, making his head feel foggy. He imagines the cave in the hills. One god tells the truth, one lies, and only one question can lead to the treasure. Maybe the liar's words are a trick, Roland murmurs to the moon. He pictures the stone guards, their eyes cold and gleaming. If I ask, which door is safe, the liar will point to the bad one. His chest tightens like when he faces a foe in battle. But then he thinks, maybe I can ask a clever question, one that tricks the liar back. The idea feels like a spark, small but bright. He imagines asking, which door would the other guards say is safe? The answer twists in his mind, like a path through the forest. The wind brushes his face, cool and sharp, smelling of pine. Roland's breathing slows, his body sinking into the chair. He thinks of another idea, simpler. Maybe the guards want to help, but their words get tangled, he says. He pictures the truth-teller trying to speak clearly, but the liar's words mix everything up, like mud in a stream. If I could untangle them, he thinks, I'd find the treasure. The thought is heavy but exciting, like holding a map to a secret. The next morning, Eldoria wakes with a golden glow. The courtyard clangs with knights training, their swords flashing. Villagers haul grain to the market, where merchants shout about wool and apples. Roland walks through the castle gates, his boots heavy on the cobblestones. His squire Tom, a lanky boy with messy hair and eager eyes, follows close. "My lord," Tom calls, his voice bright. "You look troubled. Is it bandits?" Roland shakes his head, a faint smile on his lips. "No, Tom," he says. "It's a riddle that twists my mind." They sit on a stone bench by the river, its water glinting under the sun. Tom kicks a pebble, his tunic dusty. "Tell me, Prince," he says. "What's the riddle?" Roland leans forward, his cloak brushing the ground. "It's called the liar's riddle," he says. "Imagine a cave. Inside the cave were two doors. One led to treasure, one to death, and two guards stand there in front. One of them always tells the truth, the other always lies. I can ask only one question to one guard. How do I find the safe door?" Tom's eyes widen, like saucers. "That's tricky," he says. "The liar will fool you." Tom scrunches his nose, thinking hard. "So the words trick you like the guard?" he asks. Roland smiles, warm inside. "Exactly," he says. "Maybe the trick is the key." Tom grins. "You'll solve it, my lord," he says. "You're the smartest knight." The sun climbs higher, warming the river's edge. Roland and Tom watch the water, quiet for a moment. "What if I ask the wrong question?" Roland says, half to himself. "The liar will lead me to danger." Tom shrugs. "Then ask something that works for both," he says. Like, a question that makes the liar tell the truth." Roland laughs soft and low. "A clever thought, Tom," he says. "You're learning. That night, Roland climbs to the tower again. The air is cool, wrapping him like a cloak. The moon glows, and the river hums below. He sits in his chair, the wood familiar under him. The liar's riddle feels closer now, like a shadow he can almost touch. Maybe the question is like a sword, he thinks. It has to cut through the lie. He imagines standing before the guards, their stone faces still. If I ask what the other guard would say, he murmurs, the liar and truth-teller might point the same way. His head spins, but the thought feels right. Like a key turning. The river's song is steady, and an owl hoots in the distance. Roland's cloak is warm, its wool rough against his skin. His thoughts drift, like leaves on the water. The riddle is a game, he whispers. I just need the right move. The moonlight softens and the castle grows quiet. Roland's eyes flutter, heavy with sleep. The night feels alive, full of secrets waiting to be unlocked. Picture Roland in the tower, his cloak around him the castle, strong and silent. See the river, glinting under the moon, and the village sleeping below. Hear the wind, gentle as a sigh, and the owl's quiet call. Let your thoughts drift like Roland's into the cool, quiet night. This is a story for dreaming, for feeling like a prince facing a twisty challenge. Roland's quest is growing, chasing the liar's riddle through a foggy maze. But for now he rests, the night holding him close. Picture a crisp dawn in Eldoria, where the air carries the sharp tang of dew and wood smoke. The castle looms on its rugged hill, its grey stone towers streaked with moss, their banners flapping in the breeze. Below, the village stirs, timber houses with thatched roofs, glowing gold in the first light. The river winds through the valley, its water catching the sun like scattered coins, murmuring over smooth pebbles. Meadows stretch beyond, dotted with grazing sheep and wildflowers, purple thistles and white clover, swaying under a sky of pale blue. In the distance, the hills rise, dark with pine and oak, their slopes cloaked in mist like a giant's breath. This is the world of Prince Roland, a knight whose heart beats for duty, and a strange riddle, now setting out on a quest to find a hidden cave. Roland stands in the castle courtyard, his leather tunic creaking, his crimson cloak heavy with morning dew. His blonde hair was cropped too short to tie back, and his eyes, sharp as a hawk's, scan the bustling scene. Knights sharpen swords, their whetstones rasping, while stable boys haul hay, the laughter mixing with the cluck of hens. Servants carry baskets of fresh bread, the warm, yeasty scent drifting past. The castle folk are proud but weary, their faces lined from hard winters and bandit raids. They nod to Roland, their prince, with quiet respect, though some whisper he chases dreams over battles. Godspeed, my lord, a grizzled blacksmith calls. His hammer paused. Roland nods, his smile steady, feeling the weight of their trust. Tom, his squire, hurries to his side, a lanky boy of 16 with messy hair and a tunic patched at the elbows. Tom's job is to serve Roland, a role steeped in tradition. He polishes armor, tends the horse, and carries gear, for a knight cannot prepare alone. In the armory, Tom kneels, buckling Roland's steel breastplate, its edges dented from past fights. The metal is cold, heavy, and Roland grunts as Tom tightens the straps. "Not so tight, lad," he mutters, half smiling. Tom grins, tying the greaves to Roland's shins. He hands Roland his sword, its hilt worn smooth, and slings a shield over his own shoulder, panting under its weight. "Ready, my lord," Tom says, his voice eager but nervous, like a pup before a hunt. The castle gates groan open, and Roland mounts his horse, a sturdy bay mare named Ember, her coat gleaming like polished wood. Tom climbs onto a smaller gelding laden with saddlebags of bread, dried meat, and a water skin. The crowd parts, children waving, their wooden shoes clacking on cobblestones. A girl tosses a daisy, shouting, "Bring back a story, my prince." Roland catches it, tucking it into his cloak, his heart warm. The village's hope clings to him, raw and real, like the smell of earth after rain. He spurs Ember forward, Tom close behind, and they ride into the valley, the castle shrinking behind them. The journey takes them through Eldoria's wild heart. The river glints to their left, its banks thick with reeds and darting kingfishers, their wings a flash of blue. Meadows roll under hoof, the grass whispering against their boots, alive with crickets and bees. The hills loom closer, their slopes dense with ancient oaks, their gnarled branches twisting like old hands. Ferns carpet the ground, soft and damp, while mist curls through the pines, smelling of sap and secrets. A fox darts across the path, its eyes glinting, and high above, a hawk circles, its cry sharp in the quiet. The world feels vast, like a tale from a bard, both beautiful and unforgiving. Roland rides steady, his armor clinking, his thoughts on the liar's riddle. The cave, the scroll said, holds 2 stone guards, one true, one false. One question can unlock the truth. He doesn't dwell on it long, letting the land's rhythm soothe him. Tom hums a tune, off-key but earnest, his gelding snorting at a butterfly. "Stay sharp, Tom," Roland says, his voice low. "The hills hide more than caves." Tom nods, gripping the shield tighter, his squire's duty grounding him. He's here to serve, to learn, perhaps to become a knight one day. And Roland trusts his loyalty, forged in sweat and shared fires. The sun climbs, then dips, painting the hills gold and shadow. They pass a crumbling stone wall, remnants of an old outpost, its stones mossy and forgotten. A chill settles as the trees thicken, their canopy blotting the sky. The path narrows, roots snaking across it, and the air grows heavy, like a storm's promise. Roland's mare snorts, ears twitching, and Tom's eyes dart to the shadows. "Is this the place, my lord?" he whispers. Roland nods, pointing to a jagged cliff ahead where a dark opening yawns. The cave. His chest tightens not from fear, but from the weight of the unknown, like a blade yet to fall. They dismount, tying the horses to a gnarled oak. Tom unloads the saddlebags, setting out a torch, its pitchy smell sharp. He lights it, the flame crackling, and hands it to Roland. His squire's hands steady despite the dark. They step into the cave, the air cold and damp, smelling of wet rock and something older, like forgotten time. The torchlight dances on rough walls, etched with faint, swirling carvings. Runes or warnings Roland can't tell. The ground slopes down, gravel crunching under their boots, and the silence presses, broken only by dripping water, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. Deeper in, the cave widens, and Roland's torch reveals a chamber. Inside were 2 doors, stand against the far wall, each plain but heavy, their iron hinges rusted. Before them 2 stone statues loom taller than men, their faces carved with eerie calm. One's eyes seem gentle, the other sly, glinting in the flickering light. Roland's breath catches, his cloak heavy with damp. Tom grips the shield, his voice a whisper. "The guards, my lord." The riddle's here. The liar's riddle stirs in Roland's mind. One question, one truth, one lie. But he pushes it down, letting the cave's weight hold him. Picture Roland in the cave, his torch casting shadows, the doors silent before him. See the hills outside, misty and wild, and the river winding through Eldoria. Hear the drip of water, steady as a lullaby, and the wind's distant sigh. Let your thoughts drift like Roland's, into the cool, quiet dark. This is a story for dreaming, for feeling like a prince on a daring quest. Roland's challenge is near, facing the liar's riddle in a shadowy maze. But for now he stands, the cave holding him close. Picture the deep, quiet night in Eldoria, where the air is cold and smells of wet rock and ancient earth. The castle sleeps far away, its towers lost in the misty hills. The village lies still, its timber houses dark, their thatched roofs silver under a waning moon. The river winds through the valley, its murmur faint, like a lullaby carried on the wind. Inside a hidden cave, Prince Roland stands, his torch casting flickering shadows. His crimson cloak is damp, his armor heavy, but his eyes are steady. Beside him, Tom, his loyal squire, grips a shield, his breath quick in the silence. Before them, the wooden doors loom, their iron hinges rusted, guarded by two stone statues, tall, eerie, with carved faces that seem to watch. The liar's riddle hums in Roland's heart. One question, one truth, one lie, to find the safe door. The cave is cold, its walls rough and glistening, etched with swirling runes that glow faintly in the torchlight. Water drips somewhere slow and steady like a clock in the dark. The air feels heavy, thick with secrets, as if the cave holds stories older than Eldoria itself. Roland's boots crunch on gravel, and Tom's torch trembles, painting the guards' faces, one gentle, one sly in shifting gold. The village, the castle, the river feel far away, like a dream left behind. Here in this shadowed chamber the world is small. Just Roland, Tom, and the riddle that twists, like a knot. Roland steps forward, his sword at his side, its weight familiar. He thinks of the mad monk's words. This statement is a lie. It loops true and false at once, like a river circling back. Roland's chest is tight, like before a battle, but his mind is calm, like a lake under moonlight. The riddle is a game, he whispers, his voice soft in the cave. I need a question that traps the lie. He thinks back to Eldoria, to the castle's clanging courtyard, the village's warm bread, the river's gentle song. The people's hope, their tired smiles ground him. Tom shifts beside him, his squire's eyes wide but trusting, his patched tunic dusty from the journey. Tom carried the shield, lit the torch, and stayed by Roland's side, as a squire must. Stay close, Tom, Roland says, his voice low. Tom nods, clutching the shield like a lifeline. Roland feels the weight of their bond, raw and real, like the earth under his boots. He faces the guards, their stone eyes glinting. The riddle feels alive, like a foe testing his wit. Roland takes a breath, the air cold in his lungs. I'll ask one guard. If I ask the other guard which door is safe, what would he say? He murmurs. The question is simple, but sharp, like a well-aimed arrow. If he asks the truth-teller, they'll point to what the liar would say, the dangerous door. If he asks the liar, they'll lie about the truth-teller's answer, also pointing to the dangerous door. Both show me the wrong door, Roland thinks, so I choose the other. His heart lifts, like a hawk taking flight. Roland steps to the gentle-eyed guard, his torch steady. If I ask the other guard which door is safe, what would he say? His voice echoes, firm but calm. The statue's lips move, a low rumble like grinding stone. The middle door, it says. Roland pauses. The cave silent, save for the drip of water. Tom's eyes dart to the doors, his breath held. Roland nods, turning to the left door. The middle is danger, he says softly. The left is safe. He doesn't know why he trusts it, but the riddle feels clear, like a path through mist. The left door creaks as Roland pushes it, Tom at his side. Beyond is a small chamber, its walls bare but warm, lit by a soft golden glow from nowhere. A simple iron chest sits in the center, its lid plain. Roland kneels, his armor clinking, and opens it. Inside is no gold, but a single scroll, its parchment old but smooth. He unrolls it, finding one line. Truth is found in the question, not the answer. Roland smiles. The words lighten his heart. The liar's riddle wasn't about treasure, it was about facing the twist, like a knight faces fear. Tom peers over his shoulder, his squire's curiosity bright. Is that it, my lord? He asks. Roland nods, tucking the scroll into his cloak. It's enough, he says. The riddle taught me to trust my mind. Tom grins, his relief like a warm fire. They leave the cave, the torch dimming, and step into the night. The hills are quiet, the pines dark against the moon. The river's song grows louder, welcoming them back. Ember, Roland's mare, snorts softly, and Tom's gelding nuzzles his hand. The ride home is gentle, the meadows silver, the wildflowers closed for the night. The castle looms ahead, its torches faint but steady. Eldoria wakes as they near, the village stirring with dawn's gold. In the courtyard knights pause, their armor glinting, and villagers wave, their faces warm with pride. Roland dismounts, Tom taking Ember's reins, his squire's duty second nature. A girl runs up, the same who tossed the daisy, her eyes bright. Did you find the treasure, Prince? She asks. Roland kneels, pulling the daisy from his cloak. I found a story, he says, and that's priceless. She laughs, and the crowd cheers, their hope a living thing. That night, Roland climbs to the tower, his cloak warm. The wooden chair, familiar. The river hums below, and an owl calls softly. The moon paints the castle silver, and the hills fade into shadow. Roland thinks of the riddle, its looping words now quiet. Truth is in the question, he murmurs. The scroll's words, soft in his mind. He sees Eldoria's future. Knights training, villagers working, children dreaming, and feels peace, like a fire after a long ride. The liar's riddle was a challenge, but it led him home. Picture Roland in the tower, his cloak around him, the castle strong and silent. See the river glinting under the moon, and the village sleeping below. Hear the wind, gentle as a sigh, and the owl's quiet call. Let your thoughts drift, like Roland's into the cool, quiet night. This is a story for dreaming, for feeling like a prince who faced a twisty challenge. Roland's quest is done, but Eldoria lives on, waiting for your dreams. Close your eyes and drift away under a sky full of peace.